Quick message before today's webinar. If you are involved with or know any events that require ticketing or admissions, we have a purpose-built platform just for ticket events. Like RunSignup, it's free to use and provides the same marketing and event day tools to help you put on a seamless event. For more information, visit TicketSignup.io. You can schedule a call there or just start creating your event for free today. Now on to the webinar.
Afternoon and welcome to Timer Tip Tuesday. My name is Soren Larson. I'm a Senior Technical Account Manager here at RunSignup. And today we're going to be talking about offering parking using TicketSignup for cross-country events. We're going to give it another minute so that folks can kind of come in and get settled. Just some housekeeping tips. If this is your first time using GoToMeeting or GoToWebinar, there is in your little toolbox thing a place for you to be able to put questions. We do have James, Shelley, and Matt Avery on the back end right now. So if you have questions, they'll be able to answer them for you there. And then we can also circle back on those at the end. So we do have time set aside for questions there. This will have a video component in it. So if for some reason you're not hearing that when I start playing it, please let me know so that we don't have like awkward silence. But also, if you are joining us here, we will send you a recorded version of this webinar as well as the slides from this. So without further ado, let's jump in. So what we're going to talk about today in the context of tickets for cross-country events, there'll be a brief reintroduction to TicketSignup, or introduction if you haven't used it before. A little bit about what the problem and solution that we're discussing here are. Then we have some timers actually talking about how they use this in the field, their best practices, who to approach, how to approach them, couple other real world examples, and then some pricing strategies for offering this and how to do that in a way that's beneficial to you and the event. Really, this is something that solves a problem for everyone. So we just want to make sure that everyone gets a benefit from that. So a brief reintroduction to TicketSignup. TicketSignup, it is different than RunSignup. Kind of gives away with the name there. But the biggest thing to keep in mind is that we're not talking about registering people. We're talking about tickets. And that's a really important concept because buying a ticket is a lot different than registering for a race. Buying a ticket is a fast purchase option. You don't need a lot of information for that. There's no account or login that you need to have for this functionally. You can still collect some of that information. It also offers Apple Wallet and Apple Pay, which are very popular options for people purchasing things online. So a lot of the same features as RunSignup. There's a really big list here. The ones that I really want to highlight in this is the ability to use the email platform on this to be able to do some custom stuff with pricing and caps, and the ability to use the ticket check-in app. There's a lot of other pieces there, most of which you're going to be very familiar with. I think one of the biggest things that's useful with TicketSignup is that you're not relearning everything. It's a very similar ecosystem to RunSignup. So you're going to be familiar with, especially in this context, the pieces that you'd be using, a checking in app and email communication. There are some differences. There's no logins or passwords. Again, tickets, not people. And the reports are on purchases and individual tickets instead of on registrants. There's some advanced options, and actually I'll kind of highlight one of those in the example races. But those are combo tickets, grouping, advanced caps, and ticket numbers. You can also do ticket tiles and calendar for display, which may come to your benefit if you have like a multi-time block situation. We also have store and warehouse, which is inventory sharing. If you are a timer or come to the timer summits, you've definitely heard about warehouse options being much desired. Here they are in this context. So ticketing events are, pretty simple events where people go buy a ticket instead of register people. So parking is kind of the ideal here. Parking doesn't involve someone's age, what distance they're running, but one person might buy multiple passes, and the person buying them might not even be part of the event. A parent might be buying parking passes for their kids or family friends and stuff. And because there's no scored element here, these can be simplified a lot more than registration can be. That being said, you can still collect some information here and make sure that you have a contact list that you can follow up with later. So how to create a ticketing event? Pretty straightforward. Go to your profile links, ticket events, and create a new ticket event, or go to the link provided here. Creating a ticket event from your partner page is also a really good method, especially if you're doing it for another group. So if you have a partner page, setting it up so that the events are created from there will be very helpful. The first steps here, you're going to recognize. It might be a little bit different nomenclature, but functionally, we're going through the wizard. So again, you input the location, the visibility, the event URL identifier. This is something where you can put years in. It's not the same renewal structure as a race. So you could copy something and put a different year in, or maybe have a more specific date range in there. There's not that same, don't put first annual. Good practice, but just keep in mind some of these pieces. And when in doubt, read the text that we provide for you, please. So instead of registration events on the next piece of the wizard, ticket events are ticket names. It's the name of the type of ticket can be set up. Purchase periods do apply here as well. Most of the stuff you'd be doing here, if you're selling parking tickets, you're not going to have multiple purchase periods. You can set up age-based pricing. It might just be easiest to create a different ticket type for that, though. There's a certain amount of honor system, but when you get right down to it, anything is better than like your meet director having a Venmo page and then finding out that they have a 1099 from Venmo later. So it's also worthwhile here, though, and I do want to emphasize this piece, that you should take the time to make the page look nice. Having a good banner, whether that's the school, whether that's the invite, whether that's maybe your timing company's logo for a banner, you should have a banner there. Don't make it too generic, and have a logo too. These are things that make people feel like they're getting good value when they're purchasing something, even if it's as simple as just like a parking ticket. And then a reminder that setting up a payment account is often kind of the step that's trickiest and the biggest hurdle for organizers. Sometimes it's just best in these scenarios to be the person or the entity collecting this. You can credit it towards your invoice or do something like that. In some cases, entire invoices are covered by the cost of tickets and merchandise sales here. And that's kind of nice for everybody involved. But just keep that in mind. If it's something where you're trying to spin this up for 2 days from now, and they've never created a payment account before, you're probably not going to get through that process fast enough for them to be happy with the outcome there. So either make sure you have enough lead time, or find an alternate route, whether that's you collecting that and crediting it or something else. And also feel free to loop us in if you have these issues here or if you're not sure what the right path is. So parking for cross country. It's a pretty simple problem here. Oftentimes you'll be at a venue that has limited space for parking, or is pretty remote, and maybe they have fields and stuff that you're having to rent to park on. So this solves that problem by, addressing the limited space option, and also giving organizers a way to recoup the cost of renting or paying for that parking space. So you can do cashless payments and take payment at the quote unquote door. You could have specific spots that are VIP and that are like very close to the gate, and much more limited availability, maybe a different cost, or just a way to kind of manage who's parking where. And you can make fulfillment a lot easier if you're doing merchandise. So if you're selling meat programs, one thing that I've seen that's become a lot more popular lately is hosting schools, maybe selling meat merchandise on site. So that's something that you could also move over to this as a cashless option, and just a way to kind of collect a little bit more information for the organizers. So without further ado, I'm going to have some of you talk. So this is a pre-recorded series of meetings with a couple different groups here, but I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hey, my name is Doug Thomasy. I started Blue Ridge Timing roughly in 2010 with just doing a few events here and there, but I'd say we more formally opened our doors in 2014. Had a pretty extensive background in track and field in college, and then more so cross country in high school. I was a 4-year letter winner in high school, and then I was a 2-time All-American at a Division III school in Virginia. So that kind of like segued into some coaching opportunities, and from there, that opened up the doors for Blue Ridge Timing, and yeah, we've been in business ever since.
Hi, my name is Larry Miner. I'm a timer for Blue Ridge Timing, also a sales rep at RunSignup. I've been in the running world since high school, cross-country track runner all throughout high school and college. Got into timing around 2017. Came on to RunSignup just after 2020.
Yes, my name's Billy, and I work for Charm City Run Events. I've worked for Charm City Run Events since 2012, so quite a long time now. Charm City Run Events and Charm City Run in general, we have quite a lot of umbrellas that we work under. We have an events company, we have a training company, we have 7 retail stores, and each of those umbrellas we've found a use for TicketSignup and the RunSignup tools to make our jobs easier.
I'm Moses Greenspan. I'm a timer for Wolf Creek Race Management.
I'm Andrew Massey. I'm the owner at Wolf Creek Race Management, and Wolf Creek has been servicing endurance events for 10 years now, and we're on track to time over 300 events this year.
Yeah, so as far as tickets, I was trying to introduce tickets to certain meet directors for, that I thought can handle both the ticket aspect and the registration aspect. But the first event that I used tickets for, introduced it to, was for the cross country middle school national meet in Louisville. And I think it went over really well. And we've been using it ever since. I believe this is going to go on the 3rd or 4th year now with that client.
The first event that I used TicketSignup with was the Adidas Track Nationals about 3 years ago. The biggest tool that Nolan wanted to use was the ability to configure the check-in app. So basically limiting access for volunteers as far as the event goes. Also just being able to easily train those volunteers on how to use that check-in process, since they do have multiple check-in locations. That was a big selling point for him.
The first time we used TicketSignup, we have a cross-country event that has grown quite large. It has approximately 2,800 participants. We have about 30 teams, 5 different races over the entire day. And we got into this situation where we could not figure out a safe way to have people park on site. The parking, the venue is really cool. It's a horse track. So the parking was in the middle of the horse kind of oval. And we were parking people there in previous years, but we were having just some trouble finding a safe way to get people to park. People were showing up at different times because the different races are at different times. And to get to parking, you have to cross the course. And we needed to take parking off site. For several reasons. One, what I mentioned earlier. The second reason also was when we were parking people in the oval, then, it's a big job to get them up to where they're viewing the race. This venue is really cool, where there's a huge hill overlooking the oval, so you can see the runners. It's really awesome. You can see basically the last mile and a half of the race from up on the hill. You don't have to run around or anything like that. So long story short, we decided to move it off site. We found a location, and then we were going to bus people in. We came up with, what's the best way to do this? And being familiar with RunSignup, we, at the last second, set up TicketSignup. We had 2 different options. We had the VIP option, which was about, I think we had 30 spots or maybe 50 spots that were VIP that were going to be on site. And then we just take them up to the place. And then we had a offsite, option that they park there and they get brought up to the venue on a bus, get dropped off right where they need to be, walk onto the hill, and they're there to view and get back on the bus, get returned. So the best thing was being a RunSignup user for a long time now. It was super easy to implement TicketSignup. Pretty much same tools, very like I said, intuitive. Set that up really quick, had the options on it, sent those links out to, I think we sent it to the coaches. We communicated it basically to everybody, and within days we had 700 of the reserved and all the VIP spots filled up. And then the other super great part about it was race day came. Of course, we're nervous because we hadn't done it before. We set 2 of our team members. I call them the unlucky ones because they were out on an island all day by themselves. But they set up with the check-in app, very similar to the RunSignup check-in app. And it's, everybody's had the experience of going to a football game or a venue and you're just waiting in that line and it's inching ahead. Well, with the check-in app, you're just car after car there. You sent them the QR code in the email, just like you would at a race for check-in. And they are just checking in. It's like 3 seconds a car, especially when they have their QR code up. If they forget that, you type their name in and we're just getting them parked really quickly. You can have the option if somebody wants to pay on site and you have a square or something like that, you could do that and just have people pull over in a different line. But again, it worked out great. And I think the biggest thing is just, don't be scared to try it out, especially if you're familiar with RunSignup, because they're kind of the same tools, and it's very intuitive, very easy to set up, and it worked out.
We started using TicketSignup in 2023 for a track and field invitational that is pretty sizable, about 70 teams. And we noticed that they were charging admission for the event. So we went to the meet director. He said, hey, we have this solution where we'll provide iPads for you. You can check people in easily. They were 100% cash. And then within 3 years, most sales now are on TicketSignup. Makes it way easier for them. They're selling programs on there, gear like hoodies and t-shirts. So it really streamlined their process and ended up making them more money. It's easier for them and for us.
I think the clients that are most useful in terms of approaching about tickets would be age group meets in terms of track and field. I think they're kind of a very disjoint group that has a real need for tickets. Not only does it help them kind of with their pre-sale, but the day of the event, instead of having a very, very long line, they can kind of differentiate into a pre-sale line and then a day of line. In addition to that, I found that clients who have something else to offer at their event, it's a perfect scenario. So for example, we sell tickets for a swim meet in regards to daily a parking pass. So to get into a certain swim meet, you might also have to buy a parking pass, and then also adding to that, say like a barbecue meal ticket. So there's a lot of different uses, and I think the meet directors and clients that we introduce this to really appreciate having all of those financials under the one umbrella, whether it be TSU or RSU.
Anytime that they have some sort of thing like parking where it's a big cost to the group and they need to recoup some of that money back, you can charge a small parking fee and recoup quite a lot of that back, and the setup's easy, check-in's easy.
I think a good customer, as far as the timer goes, is a timer that is looking to generate more revenue from a different stream. So a conversation that I've had with a lot of, especially new timers, is how can I generate more revenue? Slowly, the business is growing on the timing side of things. So I found that Tickets is a great way for them to do that. They can even offer on-site services if they have the personnel or the hardware. Just any sort of tablet or smartphone is really all you need to have on site to check in tickets. So I think those are great customers as far as timers go.
So any cross country or track and field invite that we work with, we always bring up TicketSignup throughout the process when we're talking with the client, because if they are selling tickets to begin with, it's a way to streamline that approach, since TicketSignup is so simple. It provides greater payment options and capabilities for these events. So as a timer, it is a value add for us to bring that knowledge and bring that product forward to them, help simplify ticketing for them. And then if they're not selling tickets, just pointing out that other track and field and cross country invitationals are charging for admission, they're charging for parking, they're selling meet programs, they're selling apparel. This is a way to help generate additional revenue for those race directors and invitationals and booster organizations. And in some cases, certain events that we've worked with, it's nearly covered our entire cost of timing, which has been a huge perk for them. It's super easy to use, very simple. I can train someone in a boosters organization in less than 1 minute how to use the app. I would say for people that haven't used TicketSignup, it functions very similarly to the race day check-in app in terms of ease of use. And it's also very simple to integrate TicketSignup with some point of sale systems like Square. We always integrate it with Square, and we bring the tablets and Square devices set up, ready to go. So everything's ready-made, simple for these booster organizations to manage ticketing at the gate. So it's really providing a great solution for them.
I think the interfacing between the dashboard of the ticket signup setup compared to, let's say, a race day signup is awfully familiar. So that helps to assist. Instead of me having to learn a whole new interface, I can basically segue over to the ticket signup platform and offer my insights there. Along those lines, I think it's awfully beneficial to have the knowledge base to convey to these clients and meet directors regarding tickets. And with that, just like we experienced with some RunSignup accounts with our partner account, it does kick back to us a little bit, and it just shows our appreciation, and it just makes it worthwhile on our end to offer it and kind of help out RSU and TSU with regards to their tickets. So yeah, I'd say just the ease of the platform, and also just a little bit of a kickback that we see from other races regarding tickets.
My favorite part of the TicketSignup platform is definitely the ease of use. I think something else besides the check-in app and how easy that is to understand and train volunteers on is also the data that's collected from the ticket registration process. A lot of events have actually benefited with cross-promoting by being able to collect that data. And then finally, I think one of the things that I've gotten a lot of feedback on is, unlike other platforms for tickets, there's no additional advertising for other events, such as meets in the area or things like that. So I've seen a lot of positive feedback by the only information that they're seeing is related to their event.
I think my favorite thing about tickets as a timer is just the easiness of setting it up. Very intuitive. The fact that the check-in app is linked to it as well. And also, I haven't mentioned this yet, the fact that you can email people with the RunSignup / TicketSignup email tools is huge. A lot of times when we're doing this other ways, you don't have that super easy way to email people. Again, if you're using it for parking and you need to email out that QR code, that's a super simple, just like a pre-race email. So I love all the tools that are included.
I think it's probably a best practice to find the right client. You kind of understand those race directors that may have other aspects regarding their event, whether it be a carnival associated with a fun run or some other aspect regards to their business. But once you find someone who might have a use for tickets elsewhere, if you more or less have something to fall back on, like once you get that key first event, you can kind of fall back and say, hey, we use tickets for this event. It's done over really well. It falls kind of, again, under that same umbrella with the RunSignup and financials in terms of setting up a payment account and so on and so forth. But yeah, my advice would be just know your client base in terms of your race directors. Find the race director that has some other aspect of their event aside from the running component that you can offer tickets. And then once you nail that first one down, maybe after each event, just throw it in there as a summary recap of the event, saying, hey, the race went well. And if you have any other events that might benefit from tickets or a ticket sale, maybe consider it. And we have a few examples for you to investigate.
I always tell people, don't be scared to learn something new. You might have a system that is working great, but you can improve it even more. It's very easy. TicketSignup is very intuitive, especially if you're already familiar with RunSignup. You can communicate with people. So use all those tools, especially if you need a way to check them in, use that email tool, add the QR code in there. It's not a huge project to add this into your tools. It's very, very easy to add it as a tool that you can improve your situation.
I would advise everyone to just, include tickets as an option on your contract. There's a chance that the client isn't going to want to go with that, and in that case, fine. No harm, no foul. But ultimately, if they do, it's gonna help them out. They're gonna thank you for it, and it'll also help you. So definitely just include that as an option on the contracts when you're seeking new business.
Yeah, so if you have an event that you think might be a good fit for TicketSignup, definitely loop in either your account manager or your sales rep. I know the sales reps have been very active in doing follow-up and reach outs with all of our current partners and timers, just trying to check in, seeing if there's any business that we can help you win. So yeah, if you have any races or ticketing events that you think might have a good fit for our TicketSignup platform, feel free to pass it along. Don't feel like you have to do the legwork of selling the product. We can definitely assist with that, but just making that initial introduction and opening the door is all we're asking. All
right. So a couple examples of using TicketSignup for parking. First, this is a Virginia Cross Country Showcase. It's a simple page. It's got multiple time slot options, morning and evening. It has a ticket lookup function built into it. And if you have a more complex setup, you could actually consider doing MTE on this. So there's an example there if you want to take a look at it. We also have the MYA Cross Country here. This one has specific parking options for different races if you go into the purchase path. It's actually set up to allow for adding different options to your primary option. So they have what they call a combo, what we have called a combo on there, where you could buy, like morning parking, and then for $5 more, have an afternoon session as well. So it's accommodating people for all day without making them, do this twice. You can check them both in together. It also shows the remaining spots there. You can see there's 181 tickets remaining, which will help drive urgency and also prevent overselling on this. So this is a little bit more robust build out, but it's still like a pretty straightforward path for doing things. So those are both really good examples if you want to take a look at that. So when we talk about pricing strategies for TicketSignup, how do you do that? The partner program applies to ticket events as well, and it has the same fee structure as RunSignup, so 6% plus $1 per transaction, and then a flat 4% donation fee. You can customize these on the partner level, though. So the big caveat to that is that keep in mind that changing your partner level pricing applies to everything on that partner account. So if you're doing something with like ticket specific pricing adjustments, you might want to create a secondary partner account just for your ticketing events. I know we talked about this when we talked about tickets for track meets as well, but the same applies. And you can use that same a partner account for both track and cross country season. So to edit your pricing, in your partner account, you navigate to financial pricing. The default pricing appears there, and to make a different pricing structure, you go to add new pricing. In the case of tickets, it might make sense to increase the dollar amount of the fee calculation. It's just might be easier to explain and detail out to your customers there. But again, do not add a per registration fee, as that only applies to races. So just keep that in mind. If you're looking at doing this, either reach out or use these slides as a reference. And then to make sure that a ticket event is added to your partner account, so this might be part of your flow as you are onboarding your meets to tickets for parking. You go to ticket events, create an event. And so you're creating it right from the partner event there, and it's associated with it automatically. You can either share the link at the top with your event directors. That'll allow them to create an event and have it linked to the partner account, or you can send them an invitation. If you do the introduction and need the event added to your partner account, just let us know. Pricing, how to do this. Offer to set, you heard of a lot of really good examples, and those are like really good examples from people doing this work in the field and doing this work successfully. So listen to them. I'm just reiterating stuff that they've already said. And that would include, offer to set up the site for them. It might be easier to credit to your invoice. You can offer equipment rental. It might be easy income, or that might be the linchpin of the deal, offering them a couple tablets to do this. If they're selling merchandise, help streamline everything. Help them, I think Doug was talking about just having everything under a single umbrella there. If you do this successfully for one meet, bring that as a full demo, or show them that event and hand it over to them. Like build your own version for them and hand it over to them. It's a lot easier for them to say yes if they're not having to do that much work. And then remember that doing the legwork ahead of time doesn't require the same lift on meet day. You're not going to be managing this. They're just checking in tickets. You can teach them that stuff ahead of time. It's not going to interrupt or take away from your job at hand, which is timing the meet. And I also want to reiterate what Larry said at the end there, which is that you can always reach out to RunSignup sales or your account manager, or just someone at RunSignup and say like, hey, can you help me out with this? Whether it's like, hey, do you have a good example of this I can show someone? Whether it's, hey, can you do a demo with someone? Or whether it's just, I want to introduce you to this customer. We're here to help you with these things. So don't hesitate to reach out. You don't have to do the whole thing yourself. We're really just looking for that introduction so that we can help them get where they need to be. With that said, are there any questions?
So just to back up for a second, we in the industry like to use a lot of acronyms, and an acronym that Soren threw out today was NTE. So just to kind of level set that, what is that all about? So we have on the ticketing side a whole different way of setting up and presenting ticket options for purchase, and it's all what we call time-based or calendar-based. So you can literally look at a calendar and set up all these different time slots and all these different ways of thinking about availability based upon time. And so we call it time-based ticketing versus it just being a single ticket that you buy and for parking and stuff. So whenever you see those kind of terminology, just know that TicketSignup has spent a lot of effort building a next generation platform. That next generation platform can do both simple ticketing and also what we call more advanced or time-based ticketing, where you're really doing everything based upon a calendar and setting up everything based upon time slots.
Well, thanks everybody for your time. And we will send you a recording of this and the slides later on today. Talk to you next week. Bye, everybody.